Salut, bonjour, chers apprenants, hello and good morning. It is now our third lecture today, and we are all on way to picking up the chosen language of study. Are you feeling the thrill of learning the new terms, the new sounds, and the new words? By now, you must have all looked up and done a few revisions from our earlier classes. And as we told you, our section on bonjour, which is the first module of the total 3, takes up salutations and modes of greetings in French. Last lecture introduced you to a few terms and expressions we use on meeting someone. In today's discussion, the last part, in fact, on greetings and salutations, once again, we come with some more expressions, words, and terms. I repeat, the order of presentations in the lecture shall remain the same. Mots et expressions, followed by grammaire, and then comes culture et civilisation, and of course the surprise section at the end. So here we go, leçon 3, lesson 3. A quick recap first. Ça va? Tu vas bien? Ça va bien? Oui, ça va. Pas mal. Merci. Ça va très bien. Merci. These are all about asking casually, all well, all fine with you? Yes, all fine. Not bad. That's pas mal. Merci. Thank you. Ça va très bien. It's all going very well. So these are the informal, casual ways of greeting people. We did just a quick recap and then going on to just going over once more on the longer expressions we did last time about expressing joy on meeting someone, the delight that you show. Quel plaisir, ravi, plaisir de vous voir, ravi de vous voir, et grand plaisir. These are ways where you express that extra joy on meeting someone you really like. Now, in today's lecture, the third and the last part of greetings and salutations, we shall take up some exclusive expressions for bidding goodbye, for saying a goodbye. So listen carefully. This is au revoir. A little tricky, maybe. The first AU is pronounced as O, simple O. O, revoir, the great French R. Revoir, revoir. Quickly you say revoir. It's totally the guttural sound. Please don't say revoir or something. Au revoir. The next word is à bientôt, which I always say to you at the end of lectures. À bientôt. That's see you soon. Catch you soon. Coming back soon. That's à bientôt. And then à très bientôt. If it's a short break you're taking, coming back in a quick while, you say à très bientôt. Once again, au revoir, goodbye, à bientôt, see you soon, à très bientôt, see you very soon. Some more expressions. These are all related to saying goodbye, bye-bye. À tout à l'heure, à tout à l'heure, à tout à l'heure. This word is not you, it's heure, à tout à l'heure. There is no break practically between the words. They all go in a continuum, à tout à l'heure, as if it were one single term. So try pronouncing it the same way, à tout à l'heure. And there's a small little one here, à plus. À plus. Till next time. See you next time. À la prochaine. À la prochaine. I told you once earlier, CH in French sounds like sh. So you say à la prochaine. Till next time. Au plaisir. Au plaisir. Till the pleasure of seeing you again next time. It's the short form of that. Au plaisir. Then the longer form here again. Au plaisir de se revoir. Au plaisir de se revoir. The pleasure of seeing you again. Expecting the pleasure to see you, to see each other again. Au plaisir de se revoir. Then, of course, you have this grand goodbye. Adieu. Adieu. Not adieu, it's adieu. It ends in the sound. Adieu. Adieu is bidding farewell. Someone going away for a longer while. So you say adieu. Actually, the word Dieu in French means God. So it has evolved from the sentiment, all be well with you, may God take care of you. So I guess there is some bit of hoping for all the best and praying to God that all goes well with you, and you wish the person all the best and you say adieu. But these are not two separate words, it's one word, adieu. But you don't say adieu when you're leaving home for school and coming back home in the evening. You don't say adieu. Adieu is when you're going on a longer journey, you're going to be separated from each other for a longer period, then you say adieu. I repeat once more these terms. À tout à l'heure, à plus, à la prochaine, au plaisir de se revoir, au plaisir, adieu. Kindly note, dear learners, that the letter I, as we had done during doing alphabets, is closer in pronunciation to the body E. That is E, the longer E. Whereas in English, we normally use I for I. That's a choti E. But each place that you see the usage of I, au plaisir, you don't say plaisir, you say plaisir. Au plaisir de se voir. Adieu. Adieu. Elongated. Keep note of these little sound patterns. It will help you get a good pronunciation. While doing terms of greetings and salutations, there are some important words again which I thought I was about to miss out. So, well, today I introduce you to the three terms very important in French. Monsieur. You might have heard this often. Some people who don't know French, haven't learned French, normally might also say things like monsieur, or I don't know. I've heard all kinds of variations in the pronunciation of this word. So to be able to let my learners get the almost perfect pronunciation for this, I have given you the equivalent in Devanagari script, which says monsieur. Monsieur. The stress is on the first part of me, so you say monsieur. Monsieur. And that means Mr. or Sir. When you say Monsieur Emmanuel Macron, that is Mr. Emmanuel Macron. I hope you all know he's the president of France. And if this comes at the end of a sentence, or you're addressing someone as sir, you say monsieur. You could even say bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour, monsieur. So you're saying good morning, sir. Or bonjour, Monsieur Macron. So monsieur can be used either as Mr. or as sir. The next word is madame. Madame. That is for a married woman, Mrs. Madam. Here, the stress is on the second half of the word. So you say madame. You don't say madame. No, it's madame. The first ma is short and the next half is slightly longer, more stressed. Madame. The third one is for miss. It's mademoiselle. Let's break it. Mad, moi, and zel. You once again see the mixed script that I always use for my learners, and I hope I'm able to get through to you in conveying the near approximate sound that I'm looking at. Mademoiselle. Please see the S in this word is sounding like a Z. You don't say mademoiselle, you say mademoiselle. Please note these little things. Practice on your own. Stand in front of the mirror. Say it. Record your voices. I'm sure most of you have a smartphone with you. Record your voices and see how close you can come to the perfect. I believe practice and self-evaluation is one of the harshest things these days with learners. You don't flatter yourself. In fact, you're very strict with yourself, and good. That's how you get the perfect pronunciation. And learning French is a lot to do with good pronunciation. To do that, practice it. Once again, Monsieur, Madame, and Mademoiselle. That brings us to the end of part 1. Here we go on to part 2, Grammaire. Grammar. I had briefly mentioned in one of my earlier lectures that although in English we just use the word you to address the other person, you, in French, there are several ways of doing that, which in fact notionally comes closer to our way of addressing youngsters or elders or seniors. You have tum, you have aap, you have tu. These are different levels which show your familiarity, closeness, or hierarchy, social hierarchy. So that reflects very well, as a similar pattern existing in French language. So there is a notion of formality, informality, politeness, age, status that determines, in fact, what the person would be addressed as. We are talking about the word tu and vous. I'm trying to take this up in slight more detail here, although I have introduced you to the idea even before. So when in French you want to say something, you do this, so you have to first determine whether you want to use tu or you want to use vous. Please note the difference in pronunciation, dear learners, is tu, but this is vous. The U is just like the U I had told you, you, tu, and this is simply badi ou, vous, vous, tu and vous. It's like tum or tu in Hindi, the word tu, and it is used in informal contexts for people who are your friends, you're comfortable with, familiar with, or lower social strata than you. There are various, societal norms which determine what kind of language you're going to use with whom. That is one of the fundamentals of language learning you should understand. That is why I had told you right at the beginning, it is not only about knowing new words, it is also to understand the context, to understand what you have to use for whom, when, how. These are all parts of mastering your language competence. And I wish my learners take care of that aspect. The next is vous. As I said, you pronounce it like it were VOO, vous. It's used in formal situations or for people who are senior to you and similar to aap. Now this word, there's a little catch. Vous is used for you as in singular. It is also used to denote the notion of you all or aap sab. So even if there's a group of kids, each kid individually would be addressed as tu maybe, but the entire group if you're addressing all of them together, so each kid might be two, but all of them together, they are addressed as vous. So in that case, vous plays the role of aap sab as well. I repeat, vous is used for aap and aap sab. So the same word can be used in the context of a singular or a plural as well. Keep that in mind. Here's a new area I'm starting. Épellé. Épellé, that means spell. We have done this right from the first lecture. If you remember, the words Bonbon, Fabien, and Alice, I had made you spell them. I have some more words today for you. Now, look at these. MOOCs. Can you spell MOOCs? Try doing it. M-O-O-C-S. MOOCs. Your name, I told you even then, try spelling your own name. France. France is called France in French. Now that is a tricky sentence. France is called France in French. So when you're speaking the French language, you don't call France France, you call France La France. La France. So how do you spell France? F R A N C E is France. What is the next word? And. Any idea what it means? Yes, if you have guessed, it is India. So India is called and in French. This is the French name of India. Try spelling your name and surname, an exercise you might have undertaken in the past as well. Now there are two words. Prénom, you see on the screen, prénom is your first name. And nom or nom de famille is your last name. So let's say your name is Ramesh Kumar. Ramesh would be your prénom and Kumar would be your nom or nom de famille. 21. 21. There is a lot of linking in between. Just listen and repeat. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Most of this you can read on your own because you've already done the word 20, and the rest of the following numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've already done. So just keep adding them up to the word 20 till you reach 30. And the word for 30 is 30. 30. Take note, right after the, you have the French R. 30. Don't say Trent or something. 30 is 30. Part 3, Culture et Civilisation. In the last lecture, we did the oceans and seas surrounding France and some land borders. Now I shall talk a little about the mountains and the main regions of the country. You know, like in India, we have states. In France, one divides them largely by regions, this region, that region. So we'll look at that today, allons-y. Mountain ranges of France, I'm sure most of you are aware of these, the Alps, along the Swiss-Italian border in the southeast of the country, the Alps, the Pyrenees between France and Spain. If you remember the map, Spain is to the southwest border of France, and the Pyrenees are almost like a border between the two countries. The Jura is on the Franco-Swiss border. The Vosges, pronounced as Les Vosges, on the France-Germany border. Plateau Massif Central. If you remember the map of France, you would have noted that the south central part of the country was nearly brown and light brown in color. That's the Massif Central. It's a plateauic region, and it's mid of southern France, also considered one of the most ancient blocks on the face of the earth, not only in France, but on earth. That particular south central part, Massif Central, is supposed to be one of the oldest land masses on earth. So that's the Plateau Massif Central. Here, this is the map. Alps, as I said, you have the Alps in the southeastern border. This is the Massif Central. And you have, as I said, Les Pyrénées, right on the Franco-Spanish border, the Vosges, the Jura, and the northern, northwestern, and the western parts of France you see largely in the color green, which symbolizes plains and green areas. These aren't mountains or plateaus, very large plain areas, in fact, a lot of agriculture and a lot of vineyards and different crops growing. This is the green part of France, in fact. So have this map in mind, it will help you understand better. These are the regions I was talking to you of. I'm giving you precisely a list of the different regions of France. When you're revising on your own, you could go through their names and look up the details on each one of them. Here I'm just introducing you to the names. Provence, Alpes, Côte d'Azur, Provence, Alpes, Côte d'Azur, Nouvelle-Aquitaine, Bourgogne et Franche-Comté, Pays de la Loire, Pays de la Loire, Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, Côte d'Azur. I had briefly mentioned the French Riviera along the Mediterranean sea coast, a very famous tourist area, very, very, very famed tourist spot, Côte d'Azur. Normandy region, again, right in the north of France, Normandy. If you look up some history during the Second World War, you'd find a lot of action happened there on the Normandy coast. Then Ile-de-France. Ile-de-France is the heart of the Parisian region. That is, as I said, Seine runs through the city of Paris, and that entire region is often referred to as Ile-de-France. Ile means island, Ile-de-France. The last one is Occitanie, l'Occitanie region. This is another region of France. So you have got quite a list of regions. We don't quite have the time to go into details of each of them, but I believe you can always look up other sources and learn more about each region. That helps you to understand the culture and the geography and all stories linked to France and its different regions. Because remember, I've often heard people say France is not Paris and Paris is not France. So all these different regions of France, they had their own ways of having contributed to the French culture and civilization. So whenever you find time, go through the details. You shall find it interesting. Now, before we end today's lecture, it is time for a quick look again at the new things we learned today. Expressions are largely informal, asking, how are you? Expression informal to reply to this. And we did a recap of expressions of joy at meeting someone, Next on our list was how to say goodbye and to take leave. We learned small phrases and longer ones. So now this should help you to greet somebody in French and cordially say goodbye, or even good morning, bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame. We have a collection of terms and words that you have learned over the last few lectures, and stringing them all together, maybe you can go on to make longer sentences and phrases. This is my aim, actually. When I give you a red, blue, green, yellow, string it all together and make it into a sentence, a longer sentence. I'm sure you can. You learned next the French terms for sir and ma'am and miss, and we tried making longer sentences. The grammar session went over the tu and vous, which I'm sure most of you understood very well. And this is the advantage of finding similarities, cultural similarities between your own mother culture and the language that you're learning. And it's fun finding things which are similar there and at your place. So apart from this, I request once more to go over the pronunciation, to go over the lectures and try speaking similarly to give you a hang of the French sound systems. The spelling exercises, you did it again. And the cultural civilization, we did mountains, plateaus. The regions of France, very important. So next time you hear or see any of these words on a packet or on a product, you know exactly, okay, this region I have learned about. This is in south, north, east, west of France. So you're not left not knowing anything about the place. As I said, you are knowing and getting into more and more of France. And that's not just Eiffel Tower, there's so much more to it. Today in this section, again, saviez-vous, we have now come to the end of our lecture today. And of course, the surprise section, which I hope each one of you is liking that. Saviez-vous, today in this section, there is a little musical surprise for you. Dear learners, whenever we hear the national anthem of a country being played somewhere, for example, ours, suppose you're in a foreign country and you hear the Jana Gana Mana, immediately you feel a connect. You know that's your national anthem. Or for that matter, if you've learned about a country and you also know what the national anthem sounds, even if you hear it being played at some random place, you feel connect immediately. I know what that is. I don't think many of you would have known or ever heard the French national anthem. It's a beautiful tune composed, and its name is La Marseillaise. 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 That's the name of the song. I have given you the details, when it was composed, who composed it, and when it became the French National Convention, when the French National Convention adopted it as the Republic's anthem in 1795. So these are all trivia regarding the national anthem of France, which as students of French language, you should know. And personally, as personal aesthetics, I find the tune beautiful. I'm not giving you the lyrics today. I want you to train your ears to listen to the tune. So next time you find it being played anywhere, you know, that's La Marseillaise. So on that note, I end today's lecture, and you may now go on to listen to La Marseillaise. Belle écoute. That's happy listening. Till we meet again. À très bientôt. Merci. Take care.